Hello, welcome to the OJCP again for Java 8. Today we're going to be talking about generics. So for the certification topics we're talking about today, we're going to create and use generic classes. We're going to talk about wildcards, lower bound, upper bound, and unbound. And most importantly, the diamond operator. In Java 7, a new feature called a diamond syntax or an operator was introduced. This diamond syntax was simplified how we instantiate generic type variables. As you see, list.strings.names, new array list, the diamond operator, and the string. So it instantiates the list of strings. Map that string, map, and then inside a list integer, a new hash map. It's instantiating a very generic type when you do this. Also, alright, the diamond operator rules. List, string, list equals new linked list will get you a raw type warnings, meaning if you instantiate with the diamond operator with no defined type, or you don't define the type in the diamond operator, you will get raw type warnings. Generics exist to provide compile time protection against doing the wrong thing. These in the above example, using the raw type means you don't get protection and you will get an error at runtime. So sorry. And generics only work with objects. Remember that on the certification. Generics, you cannot use generics with primitives. Why use generics? Removing explicit cast, better code readability, developing generic algorithms. Here's an example of a generic class. Use the diamond operator, use t, or you can use any other variable, and you can make this as an integer. You can put data primitive wrap types around it. You can put objects around it, and so on. And you could also have interface classes. Generic interfaces. You can put any object around it, and this creates better code. Alright, now we're going to be talking about bounds. A bound is a parameter type, is a generic type that specifies a bound for the generic. These are the types of bounds you're going to see. You're going to see an unbound. It's used with an question mark. It's put in the question mark, and this is with this bound. It can create objects. So meaning it is not an object, but you can think of it as an object inheriting all the on top. You can think of this as an object, but it's not an object. But in a short form, the question mark is an object. You can think of that. An upper bound extends the object, meaning, so if you're looking at the example list.extends exception.new array list, it is inheriting all the members of the list. It's upper bound, so it's going up. It's being inherited all the way. You're going from the lower class, from the subclass to the superclass, as lower bound is from superclass to subclass, as you can think it. A lower bound dot list dot super exceptions dot new array list. This is going to be on the exam, guys. So what is the unbound? The unbound wildcard type means that the type of the list is unknown, so that it can match any type, any object type. Again, this question mark, the unbound wildcard can match any object type. In fact, you consider in a way the list as the superclass if you do this. An unbounded cannot be modified, or it cannot be updated. If you use this modified template, you cannot modify or update the class, and you cannot retrieve or read from the class unless you cast. Upper bound wildcard allows you to use some sort of polymorphism or subtyping with generics, and for the same reason, look at the code. List.object.listString. Why is there an error? It's because it's going the wrong way. It's not going to work. List question mark extends object works, and new array list. The second list works because it's going. The question mark is extending the object, meaning it has the mother of all objects, and it's able to instantiate a string. And you can read the items or retrieve items from the list. In this example, you can read or retrieve items, but you cannot modify them. So the upper bound, it's going up. You can think of it's like from the second one. Why this one works and you can read is because you're going from subclass to superclass, subclass to superclass, subclass to superclass. List.extends animal. This is some unbounded code, and if you print this out, it will read the object of animal, or yeah. It's safe for the compiler to add or modify lower bound. Okay, we're going to be talking about lower bound wildcard super. It's safe for the compiler to add modification or to update the list. List.super integer list equals new array list. List.super animal equals new array list. And as you can see in this code example, it's going from load, so it's going from bottom to top, as upper is going from bottom to down. So it's from, yeah. So what you want to know, the major differences between these are that superclass can write an object and reads the object type. It reads the object type. Superclass reads the object type and writes the class or its classes. Extends it can only read the object. You can read the object. You can read the object it's assigned to, but it cannot write. It cannot write the object it's assigned to. And list with a question mark object unbound can just read the object. So we're gonna go over what are some non-valid wildcards, guys. So what's wrong with list 4? So it has an upper bound wildcard that allows an array list B or array list C to be referenced. Since since you have array list A, it's trying to be referenced, meaning that you cannot reference array list A. List 4 cannot reference because it extends, so it's going from bottom. So it's going. So it's an upper. It's upper. It's upper. So it can't. It can only do whatever it's lower than B. It cannot reference A. 6. List 6 creates an array list that can hold instantiates of class A. It stored a variable with an unbound wildcard. Any generic from an unbound wildcard, making this okay. So once it's holding a reference to A, and this doesn't work because the reference in the list is unknown. So yeah. Again, I'll read it again. Creates an array list that can hold instance of class A. It's stored in a variable with an unbound wildcard. Any generic type can be referenced from an unbounded wildcard, making this okay. The problem is it's not working. The last one is because it's referencing A. And this concludes the presentation.